everyone, and welcome to another episode of Wellness in Conversation. April is Stress Awareness Month, and today we're exploring natural ways to help the body better manage stress. I'm really excited about today's guest. Jen Jefferies has been a naturopath for over 30 years. She's an expert in diet, lifestyle, stress, and identifying imbalances in the body. She's also fresh from the TEDx stage in Sydney, where she's recently shared her wise woman wisdom. She's passionate about helping support people to use their bodies to use natural preventative approaches to health. So Jen, welcome to Wellness in Conversation. Are you ready to help people stress less today?
Absolutely. I'm ready. Let's go. Come on. Rapid fire question. I'm an Aussie. We like things fast.
Great. Right, Jen, you've been a naturopath for over 30 years. For anyone listening who hasn't got a clue what one is, what is a naturopath?
A natural doctor. There you go. So ND are our initial doctors are MD, we're ND, and basically we look at health the same like a doctor does. However, we treat symptoms with things like nutrition, herbal medicine, all those things. It's a traditional doctor before the doctoring system came.
So Jen, I've got a little confession to make. Before I met you, I thought that naturopathy and homeopathy were the same thing. But from what I understand, naturopathy is a whole bunch of natural medicine that uses a whole range of approaches, like you've just mentioned: nutrition, acupuncture, herbal, botanical medicine, supplements.
We don't use acupuncture. That's Chinese medicines. Right. It's kind of like we're like a GP. We study nearly everything. Acupuncture is under the Chinese medicine stream. But I've done a lot of Chinese medicine stuff because I do a lot of work up in Asia. Homeopathy is like treats like. It's like microdosing, vibrational healing. Great. It's awesome. And then naturopath is like going to your GP. So we look at you. We want to know not the symptom, what's happening behind it. And we'll generally then prescribe, nutrition changes or herbal medicine, nasty tinctures. We make yucky tasting tonics and things. But we use the iris. Our main diagnostic is looking in the eyes. That tells us so hair, skin, nails, all those things. Yeah, we use the body to look at what's happening behind the symptom. That's it. It's
so essentially homeopathy is just one tool within naturopathy.
It can be. Not all naturopaths study homeopathy because some homeopathics clash with like aromatherapy. I'm an aromatherapist as well. We're a lot of scents too smelly. If you ever go to a homeopath, they'll say don't use toothpaste because the peppermint in the toothpaste might cancel out the remedy. It's another school of thinking. Yeah. But we kind of study everything.
You've nailed that. Now I get it. Finally, thank you, Jen, for clearing that up and for everybody that has never known the difference. In your experience of working with people, for over you said 30 years, 3 decades. What are the biggest causes, I should say, of stress that you see today?
The emotional suppression of whatever it is. That's it. So stress is actually good for us. Stress helps keep us alive. Okay, so we've got things like cortisol and adrenaline, 2 stress hormones, really important, keep us alive. However, it's the relentless little taps of stress that get us and give us trouble. So it's the kids going mum, 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 mum. It's the too many emails at work. It's the too much traffic. It's little bites that just don't give up, and we want to pull our hair out. And we don't realize that there's like a cumulative effect from those relentless little bites of stress. The modern world, go back hundreds of years, you chased a dinosaur or something and sat down for a year and ate it, and your body had the stress, but then it had time to recover. Nowadays, we don't get the time to recover. Think of football, any kind of football kind of game. The athlete goes out, gets whacked on Saturday, has time to recover before the next week, gets whacked and knocked out again the next week, has time to recover. By the end of the season, if he keeps getting whacks, they're just not getting up as fast. And so it's the same with us. When we're getting these continual hits of little stresses, they accumulate. By the end of the season, you're out of the game for the next season.
So if stress is kind of completely unavoidable in modern life, because everywhere we go, there are things that trigger us to be stressed, how do we support the body so that we can cope better?
Yeah, what we need to be able to do is to get our body to adapt to the stress, because stress is actually really good. It really does help keep us alive. However, we have to get it to be able to imagine not swing as far off center and come back quicker. So as naturopaths, we say there's this imaginary thing called the alkaline corridor. When you're in it, everything works. Energy, sleep, moods, weight. Life's fabulous. And life, every time, the kids go, mum, 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 the too much traffic, whatever it is, we get kicked out of the corridor. Now, as a naturopath, I don't care that you get kicked out because everyone gets kicked out all the time. It's how quick you bounce back and how far you go off center. So as a naturopath, we care about, or what we do, our game is to prescribe herbs or little changes and things in a person's lifestyle so that when they do go off center, they come back quicker and they don't go as far. That's the thing. That helps you to adapt to it.
And so, with all the tools you kind of have as a naturopath to help people better manage stress, is there a reason why this is an important focus for you? Was there a time in your life when you've, felt really stressed?
Well, when I was in my 20s, I worked in the pharmacy industry, and it was the 1980s. So it was the greed is go stomp on everyone crazy time in the corporate world. It was a crazy world back then. And lots of alcohol and all the things you do as a 20-year-old. And my body had been giving me lots of hints. I was off track for ages, but I wasn't listening because you're 20-year-old and invincible. I even remember my mum saying, Jen, can't you see what you're doing? I'm going, no, I'm good. See, right job, right house, right partner, blah, 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 tick, 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 tick. And I was a mess. And I knew I was a mess. Like, you go on holidays and you catch a cold on day one, or you're going to go away on a trip and you catch something, your body goes, ooh, you just need to stop for a while. And my body had been, energy, sleep, moods, weight, everything was pretty crappy. But I was working in the pharmacy industry, so I could self-medicate. And also with every kind of stimulant, caffeine and alcohol and everything to get by. And one day my body went, you're done, Jen. You have to stop now. And then I ended up with Hashimoto's. And so I learned then as a naturopath, so back before I get there, the doctors went, you're in big trouble. And so you need to take these drugs and you're going to be wiped out for about 12 months. Well, I haven't got time to be sick. I was all successful. And so I checked myself out to see a naturopath. I went to like a health retreat. There was only one in Australia in those days. I'm going back 39 years ago. And they had me in 3 weeks. They had me so well, I had to know how they did it. And I went back to school and I studied to be a naturopath, and I put all of my specialty into adrenal stress because I learned that that's where I was, and how to not just get your body out of that adrenal burnout hole, but how to then live from a place of prevention and stay well. So I never took any of the doctor's meds. However, I have been very disciplined with my health 80% of the time, and looked after myself ever since. And so what I learned, the big thing was I learned as a naturopath, was that our adrenals in Chinese medicine, we say, are the core of your being. It's where your chi lives. Everything lives there. And so we're meant to spend a bit of energy every day. So burn the candle kind of thing, bounce back, keep going. But the problem is we spend more than we put back in. And we're honestly taking years off our life. And so I'm really grateful that I burned out and got my life back on track in my 20s. So that's what motivated me to do it. And, energy, sleep, moods, and weight are the 3 easiest markers to see how your body's going. By getting my adrenals back on check, our adrenals tells your thyroid what to do, tells your reproductive system what to do. So things like a naturopath, if a woman comes to us in clinic with crappy periods, we'll go, oh, what's your stress been like the last 3 to 6 months? And they'll go, oh, this, and this, and this. Go, okay. Because your adrenals is telling the reproductive system what to do. So if you're just having something to treat symptoms all the time, that's a Band-Aid, and Band-Aids fall off. So as a naturopath, we look at what's happening behind. So we say in our world that the adrenal glands are the core of our being, and we have to get them to adapt to stress.
And when you say adrenal glands, is that the same thing as your cortisol levels, Jen?
Well, your adrenal glands are little caps that sit on top of your kidneys, and they 2 big functions. One is fight and flight, and one is rest and digest. okay, parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems. So we're meant to have the stress and then they're meant to be able to recharge. So cortisol and adrenaline are produced in the adrenal glands, but also your androgens. So the androgens are our boy and girl hormones. That's how it tells your reproductive system what to do. So it tells my thyroid was off track with Hashimoto's because my adrenals were so tired when I burned out. So we're just looking to see what's happening kind of thing behind it. So cortisol's produced in the adrenals, and then our body's, told how to utilize it. But we want to get our body to deal with stress and then be able to do the rest and digest. And if you look at Chinese medicine, which I do love, we say that your body needs between 7 and 9 hours sleep a night to recharge
Yeah.
cortisol, recharge the adrenals. The most important sleep we do is between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. And the reason you do broken sleep between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. is because your adrenal glands are out of whack, cortisol in particular.
Now I know why I keep waking up between 2 and 4.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And so it's an easy marker. And if you do a random night of it, that's okay. But if you're regularly doing that, it's like, okay, so your cortisol's too high. So cortisol's meant to be, you wake up in the morning, it's 100%, you've got all the energy to get out of bed, and it's meant to be 10% of that when you go to sleep at night. The problem is every time you do a little stress, it spikes. We get to the end of the day, it's too high, and that's what wakes you up when you go to bed at night.
Are there other things that we can do to de-stress more?
Sleep is the biggest one, without a doubt. That's the biggest thing I've had as a lifestyle change and discipline since I burned out. It just is. I know 5-6 nights a week, not negotiable. All my mates know it. I'm gone and asleep. We have parties and everything. We always finish partying by 8 so we can all clean up, go home, and plus we also get up early to go surfing. Eating close to nature 80% of the time. 80% of the time for everything, because I meet so many people who are being so healthy, they're unhealthy because they're stressing out trying to be healthy. That doesn't help. So sleep, we want to protect that. We want to eat close to nature 80% of the time. And getting the full range of everything so that your body's handling things. A big thing is that when you stress out, this is a Chinese medicine thinking when we stress out, it's like, imagine your gut's like a great big crock pot. And when cortisol's too high for too long, it puts a fire out in our belly. And so our belly, everything stews instead of digesting, which means then digestive enzymes and everything get depleted. And there's the whole gut-brain thing. The thing turns our happy hormones on. We lose that connection. So many people, they think, no, I'm depressed. They're not depressed. They're just not happy because they've been stressed and the fire's gone out in their belly. Nowadays, the doctors talk about the vagus nerve, which is what Chinese medicine has said for thousands of years. So imagine we get this perpetual stress loop. We have a stress, whatever it is, and we naturally do this, don't we? You crunch your shoulders up. But when we lift our shoulders up to our ears, we pinch the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the longest nerve that connects literally our brain and our gut. It runs all the way down through our body. So when that's like that, you think, oh, I've been sitting funny. No. In Chinese medicine, you've got what's called wind cold, which is aches, and it's because your adrenals are tired. Eat more black pepper as a food. Black pepper on everything. It's really important. So look, your body's trying to tell you all the time that it's off track. So eat close to nature, keep your gut happy. I'm a big fan of eating foods like green kiwi fruit and eat the skin as well. Has got the right digestive enzymes that we need from a food source. It's great for prebiotic, all those kind of things. It's just great for gut in general. But yeah, food, sleep, water, be in community, be around people that lift you up. Emotions play such a part with stress. You need a good support around you.
Great tips that we can all take away, for sure. And some of them we know about, don't we? But we don't do enough of them. Some of them we're learning today with the adrenal glands and your tips there. Now, I know you've discovered isogenics nutritional solutions along your journey, Jen. Can you tell us how you first came across them and why they stood out to you as something that could support the body during stress?
Yeah, so I was running a women's health seminar in Sydney, and the guts of what sits behind a women's health seminar is all adrenals. And a woman in the audience showed me 2 of the products, the Ionic Supreme and the Cleanse for Life. So I had just been talking about adaptogen tonics and all that kind of stuff. And she said, will you just check this out? And I had a look, and I honestly, I looked at the Ionics and I went, this is a very cool formula. I was really excited. I was really excited, and a clever formula. So I had specialized in making tonics like our Ionics Supreme for 20 years when I found Isogenics, and lecturing about those kind of tonics around the world. And I couldn't believe there was like practitioner herbs and nutritionals in a mainstream product. And I was really impressed. And then one day I was hand blending one of my own tonics. Same thing that like what was in the Ionics, except that Ionics tasted better because it was very cleverly had molasses in it, which is one of your best food sources of magnesium, which is the first mineral that you burn up when you stress out. So I was, I'm thinking, my naturopath ego wouldn't even let me try the product. It was silly. That's 16 years ago. So eventually I got off my naturopath ego, gave it a crack, and people started to say, "You've always had a lot of energy, Jen, but this has got silly. What are you doing?" I went, "Nothing." My ego wouldn't even let me tell anyone what I was doing. We can just stop ourselves from getting help because we've got a fixed mindset about what could be. And I had a very fixed professional mindset. Yeah.
So Ionics, you got over your ego and obviously tried it, and that's one of the things you'd recommend to help the body better manage stress. Anything else in the Osteogenics toolkit?
Well, if I think of the core basics, so a naturopath wants I talk about my latest book, which is all about the bare ass minimum to do. It's 3 parts a naturopath always does. We've got to get the body out of that stress mode. Okay, so we want to put the good herbs in, adaptogen herbs, which are a class of herbs that help our body adapt to stress. So literally help it come back to center faster and not go as far. So we want to manage the stress first. Then we want to support the body's natural detoxifying body system. So naturopaths have always prescribed what we call rest days, but it's basically nowadays intermittent fasting is trendy. By the way, don't just not eat and think you're doing intermittent fasting properly, because that spikes your cortisol, and the weight that you lose is actually muscle, not fat. It's so dangerous the way people are doing it. So naturopath, we prescribe our version of a rest day, Osteogenics calls a cleanse day, is that you still take herbs so that you're helping to keep that cortisol down while you're fasting. So it's like a low food day, not a no food day. And then you can put all the good food in, because people, when they're off center, they think, "Oh, I'm going to do more exercise and I'm going to eat clean and I'll be great." But if you've got a body that's out of balance, eat less, eat clean, exercise more, you make a smaller body with a higher percentage of out of balances. You've now got a bigger problem. And so the body goes, "Oh, well, hang on, I need to protect you more," which is what visceral fat is. And so the weight comes back more, but it's all the belly fat because it's trying to protect you from the imbalance of all things like your stress hormones, because your body, and even the World Health Organization started recognizing that visceral fat operates like its own organ. So the belly fat is the heart attack fat. So just eating less and exercising more does not fix the problem. At some stage, you've got to get your body to manage stress, support the body systems to work properly, and then be putting the good food back in. So that works with Isogenics super easily.
And some people say that stress can make us ill, and you just mentioned obviously about stress causing sometimes some people to put weight on. And is there any truth that I remember my mum saying, "Stop stressing, it'll make you poorly." Is there truth in that?
Yeah, 100%. They're behind every illness. This is naturopath thinking. Behind every illness is always an emotional component. Everyone holds stress somewhere. Everyone's got a default it naturally goes to. Me, if I'm stressed, I get hay fever and sinus. Some people get the worry belly. Some people get a sore back. Some people get migraines. We've all got a default that we go to the majority of the time. But when we suppress our stress and manage life, imagine, our body's meant to be in that alkaline corridor. When we're outside of it, we're more acidic and we're more inflamed, which means it makes the perfect growing ground for any nasty to flourish. That's why I care about getting people back in that corridor sooner than later. So, yeah, we've got to do, emotions sit behind everything. You know, doesn't matter what it is, something upsets us if we hold it in. I remember when, funny story, but I explained this when I started studying this because I was always raised thinking I was allergic to cats. Why? Because when I was 12, I said to my mum, Mum, I want a cat. She said, You can't have cats. You're allergic to cat. I went, Okay, great. You believe that as a kid. Go through life, eventually grow up, date people who've got cats and think, Oh, I'm just not allergic to that cat. Started to study to be a naturopath and I learned the emotional connection to stress and illness. I started to map when I got sick or got hay fever and sinus. And there was only ever two things. One, there was something coming up I didn't want to do, or something had just happened that literally got up my nose. And so imagine, you said, Jen, come over. And I really don't want to go. And so I go, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll be over. But emotionally, I'm stressed and don't want to go. And when I literally swallow that emotion, I'm outside the corridor. And our body gives us a symptom to stop. And so it would give me all the snot and everything to be able to ring up and go, I can't come, I'm sick. So I told my mum and dad about this years later after I'd learnt it. And if I ever walked in their place and sneezed, Mum would go, You don't want to be here, do you? I go, No, I actually don't. So,
Isn't
true
it
story.
fascinating how there is that mind-body
Huge.
connection, isn't there?
It is.
It's a lot up here.
You can't shut it off. And so we want to stay in that alkaline corridor the majority of the time. Then you stay well. That's it. All the little things that are off track for you, energy, sleep, moods, weight as core basic starters, you're out more than you're in. You'd be in sometimes, but you're out more than you in. You want to get it that you're in more than you're out. Do those core basics. Manage your stress, things like the ionics, the Cleanse for Life supports fasting days really well. And our nutrition shakes make it a no-brainer. Why? One of the things I love is that they also, it's an undenatured whey protein. Yeah, so a big thing is that we want to get our shakes are formulated as a full meal replacement, the right percentage of good fats, good carbs, good proteins, but also enzymes and everything. It helps to set that gut out. Remember how when the stress puts a fire out in the belly, it's going to help to support that as well. And if you want the extra bonus points, chuck a kiwi fruit with the skin on into your shake. It makes it in the vanilla shake. It's excellent. A little bit of cinnamon. Cinnamon's a spice that's is also excellent for helping to support that fire in your belly. Tastes so good too.
Recipe for de-stress success.
And go to bed early. Because if you're bragging you're a night owl, I promise it's costing you on the other end of your life. It doesn't work.
Oh, Jen, I've got to ask, because one thing that caught my attention recently in the press was that I read that there was some scientific research suggesting that chronic stress can actually age you. Because apparently, like, stress accelerates biological aging because it can speed up the process at a kind of cellular level.
Yeah.
Why does stress age our bodies faster?
Exactly what I just said. That's a whole Chinese medicine thinking. So our adrenal glands is where all of your chi is your life force. And if you are not replenishing it, you run out sooner. It's really simple. That's it. So you've got that part that's happening. Then the second one, and look, doctors don't look at the way that we look at it, but that's how we look at it. That's it. So, I was the you sleep when you're dead kind of chick in my 20s. And then I realized and learned the importance and realized I was heading off this planet early. So, the one thing is that we literally are taking time off our lives. Our cells they need to get their rest to be able to replenish and replace, dead and dying and damaged cells. It's a natural process that happens in the body. But isogenics ticks such a big box for me.
Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today. It's been fascinating to learn more about how we can support our bodies naturally, especially during Stress Awareness Month. And if you've enjoyed this conversation and you're listening, please share the episode with someone who might need it. If you'd like to find out more about any of the products mentioned that can naturally help your body with the coping mechanisms to better manage stress, contact your Isogenics wellness coach, whoever sent you this episode. But in the meantime, let's all worry less, enjoy life more. Until next time, folks. Thanks, everyone.